Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Love is a burning thing. It makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and the flames, they went higher, and it burns, burns, burns in a ring of fire, in a ring of fire. But I wasn't always Johnny Cash. When I was born, way back in the Depression of '32, my mama Carrie and my daddy Ray, they couldn't agree on a name for me. You see, they couldn't agree on a lot of things. So they just sort of settled on the initials J.R. J.R. Cash. I got by fine as a young boy named J.R. Cash. I like that name. It's a name with prospects. The taste, love is sweet when hearts like ours beat. I fell for you just like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames, they went higher, and it burns, burns, burns in a ring of fire, in a ring of fire. Yes, folks, I got by fine as a young boy named J.R. Cash. Till at the outbreak of the Korean War, full of patriotism and a sense of adventure, I tried to join the U.S. Air Force. Well, those Air Force desk jockeys, they couldn't abide by me having initials for my Christian name. They said, "Go away, boy. Come back when you got a proper name." Well, I went away and I sat down and I thought about it long and hard, and after a period of contemplation, I came up with John R. Cash. I never did get around to choosing a middle name. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames, they went higher, and it burns, burns, burns in a ring of fire, in a ring of fire. Love is a burning thing. It makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames, they went higher, and it burns, burns, burns in a ring of fire, in a ring of fire. Well, you know, whatever happens in your life, every man and every woman deserves to find one true love. And the woman that wrote this here song, Ring of Fire, she dedicated it to our one true love. When I went to record this song, I had a dream that there should be mariachi trumpets. Well, we don't have trumpets out here tonight, so Let the guitars be trumpets. Thanks very much for coming out today, folks. We're going to tell you a story, and I want to introduce you to someone very important in my life, obviously. She's my mama, Carrie.
Howdy, folks. How you all doing? Look lovely. So do you boys. Howdy, boys. No, they were hard times in the Depression. I gave birth to 7 kids, and JR here, he was my 4th. Well, we brought them up as best we could in the back blocks of the sweet southern state of Arkansas. My husband, Ray, was a sharecropper, and well, that ain't an easy way to make a living. All them kids had to help pick cotton. Little JR here, he started picking cotton when he was just a mite of 5 years old. They were hard times. We were dirt poor, but we always had music to console us. It was the one bright thing in our lives. Well, we would sing together to ease the long hours picking cotton, and we'd get in our little shack and we'd listen to the wireless, and we'd sing some of those hillbilly songs we heard, and some of those gospel songs too. Music just brought us all together, and it made our hard lives more bearable.
They were good times, Mama. You remember this one?
Oh, I like this one.
I remember when I was young, times were hard, we were poor. There's a silver lining behind every cloud. Just for people, that's all we were. Try to make a living out of blackland dirt. We get together in a family circle, singing aloud. Daddy sang bass,
Mama sang tenor,
me little brother would join right in there.
Music seemed to soothe the troubled soul. One of these days, and it won't be long, I'll rejoin them in a song. We'll get together way up yonder in the clouds. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Well, I remember after work, Mom would call us all right in. You could hear us singing for a country mile. Now my brother, he's dead and gone. I'll rejoin him in a song. We'll get together way up yonder at the throne. Daddy sang bass,
Mama sang tenor,
Me little brother would join right in there.
music seemed to soothe the troubled soul. One of these days, and it won't be long, I'll rejoin them in a song. We'll get together way up yonder at the throne. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
I was standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw the hearse come rolling, come to carry my brother away.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. In the sky, Lord, in the sky. In the sky, Lord, in the
remember J.R., he was only about 12 years of age when I taught him some of the few chords I knew on the guitar, and well, blow me down if he soon didn't start trying to write songs for himself. Well, we didn't know it then, but I guess that's when he started his life's journey into making music. But they were tough times, and, you know, those kids, they grew up with nothing. But I always did try and teach them Christian values and how good things would come from adversity if you put your faith in the Lord.
But our faith was sorely tested when my favorite brother, Jack, got caught in the saw at the mill. Was nearly cut in two. He spent a week in hospital, dying. And on his deathbed, he saw visions of angels. And I felt a terrible guilt when my father cried out, "The wrong son has been taken, Lord." But from then on, I believed in heaven. But you know, folks, I could not understand the Lord sending down floodwaters to further vex our family and make us lose so much. It was only much later I understood my mama's faith. For that flood, it sent a rich load of black bottom dirt clear across our farm. And that year, we had the best cotton crop we ever had. Well, you know, much later I wrote a song about that terrible flood, those hard times back on the farm, and the rising waters. And it went a little bit like this.
I like this one too.
How high is the water, mama?
2 feet high and rising.
How high is the water, papa?
2 feet high and rising.
We can make it to the road in a homemade boat. It's the only thing left that float. It's already over the wheat and the oats. 2 feet high and rising. Oh. How high is the water, mama?
3 feet high and rising.
How high is the water, papa?
3 feet high and rising.
Well, my hives are gone, I've lost my bees. Chickens are sleeping in the willow trees. Cows in water up to her knees. 3 feet high and rising. Oh. How high is the water, mama?
4 feet high and rising.
How high is the water, papa?
4 feet high and rising.
Hey, come look through the window pane. Bus is coming, gonna take us to the train. Looks like we're in for a little more rain. 4 feet high and rising. Oh. How high's the water, mama?
5 feet high and rising.
How high's the water, papa?
5 feet high and rising.
Rails washed out on the edge of town. We gotta head for higher ground. Can't come back till the water goes down. 5 feet high and rising. 5 feet high and rising.
They were hard times, and my husband Ray, he was also a hard man. He was a silent type. And little JR, he tried so hard to please his daddy, you know, helping him out every day on the farm. But, you know, you also learn to love the outdoors, especially when you'd all go fishing in the river. And anyway, well, Ray, he wasn't one to show much emotion. So in 1950, JR, he graduated from high school to try and make his daddy proud, but by then, it was time for him to make his own way in the world, so we said our goodbyes, and he moved to Detroit, City of Wheels, to find himself some man's work. Goodbye, son.
Goodbye, mama.
Look after yourself now. Bye, folks.
You be careful on the step there, mama. I want you to take your hot pills regular like. Oh, she's a good woman, my mama. Well, yeah, there I was now in big old Detroit City. I knew the meaning of hard work from those years on the cotton fields, but working on that production line, I did not enjoy that drudgery. I dreamed of bigger things. Well, you know, folks, much later, when I was rich and successful, I had a big house and a shiny car, I recorded a song that spoke of the plight of the working man, of the sweat and the drudgery, and I knew that emotion. Some people say a man is made out of mud. Poor man's made of muscle and blood, muscle and blood, skin and bone, a mind that's weak and a back that's strong. He shows 16 tons. Why do you get another day older and deeper in that St. Peter? Don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store, to the company store. Well, he was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. He picked up his shovel, went down to the mine, shoveled 16 tons of number 9 coal. The straw boss said, well, bless my soul, he shoveled 16 tons. And why do you get another day older and deeper in that St. Peter? Don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I owe my soul. Well, he was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. He picked up his shovel, went down to the mine. He was raised in a cave by an old mama lion. No high-toned woman's gonna make him toe the line. He shoveled 16 tons. And why do you get another day older and deeper in that St. Peter? Don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I owe my soul. Well, if you see him coming, better step aside. A lot of men did, a lot of men died. One fist of iron and the other of steel. If the right don't get you, the left one will. He shoveled 16 tons. And why do you get another day older and deeper in that St. Peter? Don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I owe my soul to the company store. He shoveled 16 tons. And why do you get another day older and deeper in that St. Peter? Don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. folks, there I was working on the production line in Detroit City. I was building Pontiacs, just sort of waiting for something to happen. I was burning with a terrible impatience. And the days went by, but then one day something did happen. I was at a roller skating rink and I met this real pretty gal named Vivian. Oh, I fell hard in love with that girl. She was hot. I mean, who wouldn't look at her? Vivian, my darling. Well, you know, after 3 delirious weeks of milkshakes and kissing, the U.S. Air Force shipped me out to Texas to learn how to be a Morse code operator. And then they flew me to Germany, a long ways from Korea, I'm glad to say. And I was stationed way up in the mountains of Bavaria, in a little town called Landsberg. Well, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I went out and bought a $5 guitar, and I started to write me some songs. And they were good years for me in the Air Force. I made some lifelong buddies, and I formed my first band, and we were called the Landsberg Barbarians. Looking back, I don't think we were much good. But, you know, I got my first experience as an entertainer. Those were the days.
Well, I was just an innocent young girl when I fell in love with this dark-haired man I met at a roller skating rink. Anyway, he courted me for 3 delirious weeks. And then the war came, and 3 very long years dragged by. But Johnny always wrote me. He wrote hundreds of letters in green ink. Anyway, 1954, the U.S. Air Force decided to ship him back home, and we got married by my uncle, Father Vincent, in a Catholic church in San Antonio. Well, we were so happy. We had a whole life stretched before us. And straight away, I joined the baby boom because I popped out 4 baby girls, one after the other. And we moved to Memphis, Tennessee, and, well, we believed in the American dream of having a home and a family, and how hard work would always lead to success. But dang nabbit, music was always Johnny's overriding success. And his idea of hard work was to join another band. That's 2 of them over there. That's Marshall Grant on the big old slap bass. That's one of his drinking buddies.
Howdy, folks.
Please don't encourage him too much. He's another one of his buddies. That's Luther Perkins on his newfangled Fender electric guitar. Well, are you gonna say hello? Luther?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, what do you got? You got 2 mechanics and an appliance salesman. I mean, it made me laugh to think that they wanted to be in show business. I mean, they were nobodies. They were nobodies.
Yeah, us 3 fellas that hang out in the garage at night, playing songs and drinking cheap whiskey. Years later, people would ask us how we evolved our unique trademark rockabilly sound. But I can tell you folks, that sound was there right from the very beginning, the first time we played together. It's just the sound that came out, and I liked that sound. It was upbeat. I'd slap on the bass. Luther had this crystal clear modern guitar sound with a little bit of echo in his Fender amplifier, and Johnny played the rhythm. Sometimes he'd put a chord in his strings, make it sound like the clacking of a train or the rolling rhythm of a snare drum.
Get rhythm. When you get the blues, get rhythm. When you get the blues,
It's a rock and roll rhythm in your soul. Get taps on your toes and get gone. Get rhythm when you get the blues. A little shoe-shine boy never get low down. He got the dirtiest job in town, bending low at people's feet on a windy corner on the dirty street. I asked him as he shined my shoes how he keep from getting the blues. Gave him his little hat, shook his shoe-shine rag, and then he said, get rhythm when you get the blues. Get rhythm when you get the blues. It's a jumpy rhythm, makes you feel so fine. Shake all the trouble from your worried mind. Get rhythm when you get the blues. I sat down and listened to that shoe-shine boy. I thought I was gonna jump for joy. Slapped on his shoe polish left and right. He took his shoe-shine rag and he held it tight. Dropped once to wipe the sweat away. Said, you're a mighty little boy to be walking that way. He said, I like it with a right grin. Kept on popping and he said again, get rhythm when you get the blues. Get rhythm when you get the blues. It only costs a dime, just a nickel a shoe. Does $1 million worth of good for you. Get rhythm when you get the blues. Oh, get rhythm when you get the blues. Get rhythm when you get the blues.
When I married my Johnny, he was a real handsome man. A mop of black hair, devilish smile, and a whole lot of charm. And I gotta tell you folks, it was a beautiful time. But then he started hanging out in the garage all the time, making that dreadful racket and dreaming his impossible dream of showbiz success. Well, I just got plumb angry. I would say you put down that guitar, Johnny, and you get some ambition in your bones.
Don't you start in on me, Vivian.
Well, pretty soon we got to fighting a lot. Ain't that right, Luther?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, a man has to do for his family, Johnny.
I'm trying real hard here. Me and the boys, we're doing our best, Vivian. You know, someday you'll understand. We're gonna make the big time.
Yeah, Johnny, how you gonna do that? How are you gonna do that, huh?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna start out walking. Just you wait and see.
Guitar picker, you ain't leaving without me.
You big mouth woman.
You long-legged guitar picking man.
Well, we can work this out. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am. I think we can. I would buy you the Hope Diamond if that would shut your mouth.
But how am I gonna wear it if I cannot wear it out?
You big mouth woman.
You long-legged guitar picking man.
Well, we can work this out. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am. I think we can. I'd buy you a big fat ticket on a luxury liner cruise.
I'd go out in the ocean, look around, and there'd be you.
You big mouth woman.
You long-legged guitar picking man.
Well, we can work this out. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am. I think we can. I would buy you a big black limousine. I don't need no shiny car.
But I gave my love and everything, but you still what you are.
You big mouth woman.
You are picking men.
Well, we can work this out. Yes, man. I think we can. You can work it out, baby.
I ain't working anything out with you. I need you to spend time with the girls. Stop hanging out in the
Darling,
garage.
why don't you go and watch some TV?
You know what? I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to join the women's liberation movement. Go to hell.
Shut the garage door, darling. Oh, they were dry times, I tell you, folks. You know, I'd knock on the door with a vacuum cleaner. I'd nearly get spat at. The only time I felt good was in the garage with the boys here, playing the music. I felt a power coming through the music. I knew something was going to happen for us. They were exciting times. The world was changing. You remember those days? The music was changing, Marshall.
Yeah, I remember, Johnny. Us guys would go down into the city sometimes looking for gigs. And sometimes we'd play free live to air on radio KWEM. And at some point there, we decided we'd try and get ourselves an audition at Sun Records. Now, Sun Records had been causing quite a stir in the music industry, releasing such artists as Elvis Presley and Carl Perkins. And eventually we got our foot in the door. We went down there to see Sam Phillips. He was the owner, and he had some kind of a great reputation as being the guy who was really good at choosing popular artists and getting them played on the radio. So we went down there, we saw Sam, we did our audition, but Sam wasn't too keen on the gospel songs that Johnny was singing in those days. And he told us to go home and do a little sinning and come back when we had something he could sell.
Yeah, well, I was real despondent after that rejection. I thought that was going to be our break. You know, we'd been working so hard, practicing and playing free gigs. You know, I got quite depressed, folks, and I started to feel real homesick. I was sick of that dirty old city. Started to think what it would be like, go back home into the deep South, across the Mason-Dixon line. You know, folks, I've always loved trains, and I started to think what it would be like to get on a train and ride on down, back into the homelands. Well, it wasn't so much later that I was back at Sam Phillips' office with a brand new song. And Sam, he liked the hillbilly beat. And he let us boys into the studio for the first time. We were so excited. Man, I did not know then that that was the first of over 1,500 songs we would go on to record in my lifetime. We're gonna play it for you now, the first song we recorded. The first song by Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two. And it's a train song. It goes a bit like this. Hey porter, would you tell me the time? How much longer will it be till we cross that Mason-Dixon line? We at Dixie, would you ask that engineer to slow it down? Better still, stop the train, cause I wanna look around. Hey porter, what time did you say? How much longer will it be till I can see the light of day? When daylight comes, will you ask that engineer to ring his bell? Ask everybody who ain't asleep to stand right up and yell. It's getting light outside. This old train is puffing smoke and I have to strain my eyes. Ask that engineer if he would let that lonesome scream. I smell frost on cotton leaves and I feel the southern breeze. Hey porter, won't you get my bags for me? Need nobody to tell me now, where in Tennessee. Ask that engineer to let that lonesome whistle scream. Not so far from home, so take it easy on the steam. Hey porter, won't you open up the door? When they stop the train, I want to get out first. I can't wait no more. And tell that engineer I said thanks a lot. I didn't mind the fare. Gonna set my feet on southern soil, gonna feel the southern air. Johnny Cash and the Tennessee's first song.
Sam Phillips got that song out on some record label and it climbed the country charts. That's when things started to change for us, and we hoped that soon the hard times would be behind us. Then some of our later recordings charted for us as well, and that's when things really hotted up for Johnny Cash and the Tennessee too. Pretty soon we were out on the road playing show after show, city after city, always traveling, rushing around, never at home. It was an exciting time for sure, but we all changed. You have to have so much energy and staying power to be bright and alert for a new show in a new town every night. That's when Johnny started experimenting with little white pills called amphetamines, help him stay bright and alert for the shows. And after the shows, we would drink heavily and party on, I guess, like any young fellas would. But then Johnny started taking barbiturates to help him sleep at night. And with this cocktail of drugs in his system all the time, he changed, became kind of nervous and unreliable and wild. But he was the star.
Star. Yeah, I guess I wasn't such a good fella to know in those days, folks. I was on a train all right. I was driven by little white pills. You know, I really must admit I can't remember much about it at all. It was all a big blur, except for one special night. And we was just finished our show at the Grand Ole Opry, and I was backstage, and I laid my eyes on this real pretty singer. Wow, she was special. She was fresh and she was natural and she was funny. She made everybody laugh. Well, something changed inside of me. Something happened. You know, folks, I think for the first time I knew the meaning of the word destiny. Well, I knew I had to have that woman in my life. She was out on the road. She was a young singer. That she'd been in the iconic, you know, country music family, the Carter family, and this was her first outing as a solo artist when I first met her. And that was one of the biggest days of my life, if not the biggest. Well, folks, I'm going to introduce you to someone now. I want you to make her feel very welcome. Hey, June, will you come on out and see these folks for us?
Tonka just the other day, dropped a shiny coin in the jukebox just to hear it play. I didn't have no tune in mind, but I couldn't wait to choose. Just dropped a coin into the box and played the jukebox blues.
Play the jukebox blues.
There's a guy over there with an old tin horn and a fella on an old banjo, and the man on the big old dub slap bass. You should hear him blow. Woo! Well, the man on the bass must have got real tired, but you didn't hear him say, 'cause the guy cut loose on the electric guitar and the jukebox ran away. Then I heard something strong was the rhythm guitar strum. It gave that song a solid beat, boy, was going so. Tonk just the other day, dropped a shiny coin in the jukebox just to hear it play. I didn't have no tune in mind and I couldn't wait to choose. Just dropped a coin into the box and played them jukebox blues.
Play the jukebox blues.
Well, I played a lot of jukeboxes, most everyone in town, but that's the first tune that I heard that can turn them blues around.
Play the jukebox blues.
And such a rhythm I never heard. Well, I danced out both my shoes.
That night that Johnny Cash met June Carter backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, man, he just fell head over heels in love with that woman. This was kind of embarrassing for Luther and I because Johnny's a married man with a family back home. June was a good Christian girl. This was bound to mean trouble.
Yeah, if there was going to be trouble, I was going to find it. Well, I've been working at the Grand Ole Opry since 1950 with my mother Maybelle and my sisters. And this particular night I was tuning my guitar backstage and I looked up and all of a sudden there he was. His low voice just penetrated my soul and it spoke to my loneliness, for I had no lover in my life at the time and there was a terrific loneliness in my soul. And Johnny, he took me by the hand and said,
I've always wanted to meet you.
And you know, the strangest feeling came over me. I found myself not being able to say anything for once. I think I finally blurted out something real stupid like, oh, I feel like I already know you because my friend Elvis, do you know him? Anyway, when he's tuning his guitar, he always tunes it to your song, Cry, Cry, Cry. You know that one? Anyway, it was real embarrassing. Well, Johnny looked at me and said,
why don't you come on the road with us sometime?
Well, I was trying to be cool at this stage, and I was like, that'd be nice. I don't really remember anything else we spoke about that night. Just those black eyes that shone like agates. I could only look into them for a short period of time, for I felt if I looked into them for too long, I would be drawn into his soul. He was the most handsome man I had ever met. And you know, that night, I saw him take 6 encores.
After that initial meeting, June and Johnny didn't see each other for quite some time, but the spark had been kindled. It was around this time that Johnny wrote a song that revealed the lonely in the world that he was feeling, in stark contrast to the huge successes that had been erupting around us. Now, I knew Johnny's early childhood had not been a happy one, enduring hard farm labor and a hard-hearted father. And by now, his marriage to Vivian was falling apart due to the pressures of being a music star. Sure, huge opportunities were coming our way. But Johnny was caught up in a physical and emotional roller coaster of drug and alcohol addiction. And he was often out of touch with reality. Amidst all this, Johnny wrote a slow, mournful country song. It was a bleak and dark, poetic cry, revealing his lonely inner world. And you know, it too became a hit record.
Just around the corner, there's a heartache. Down the street that losers use. You can wade in through the teardrops. You'll find me at the home of the blues. I walk and I cry as my heart beat time with the drag of my shoes. The sun never shines through this window of mine. It's dark at the home of the blues. Oh, but this place is filled with sweetest memories. Memories so sweet that I could cry. Dreams that I had left me feeling so bad. I just wanna give up and lay down and die. So if you just lost your sweetheart and you feel there's no good way to choose, come along with me. Misery loves company. You'll find me at the home of the blues. Oh, but this place is filled with sweetest memories. Memories so sweet that I could cry. Dreams that I had left me feeling so bad. I just wanna give up and lay down and die. Just around the corner there's a heartache. Down the street that losers use. Come along with me, misery loves company. You're welcome at the home of the blues. It's dark at the home of the blues. You'll find me at the home of the blues.
Those hundreds of shows we did were variety shows with Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins and other upcoming artists doing their spots on the bill. And it wasn't too long before Johnny had arranged for June Carter to join us on the road. And there was a real chemistry there between them. It was obvious that June was deeply attracted to Johnny in return, and they had so much in common, living the busy, lonely life on the road, surrounded by all the glitz and glamour and the accolades. But at the end of the day, returning to a cold, empty hotel room.
Take the ribbon from your hair, shake it loose and let it fall. Lay it soft upon your skin, like the shadows on the wall.
Come and lay down by my side till the early morning light. All I'm taking is your time. Help me make it through the night.
I don't care what's right or wrong, I won't try to understand. Let the devil take tomorrow. Lord, tonight I need a friend. Yesterday's dead and gone, and tomorrow's out of sight. Ain't it sad to be alone? Help me make it through the night. Well, I don't care what's right or wrong, I won't try to understand. Let the devil take tomorrow. Lord, tonight I need a friend.
Yesterday's dead and gone, and tomorrow's out of sight. And ain't it sad to be alone? Help me make it through the night.
Well, the Johnny Cash and June Carter love affair had become completely stalled. It became a long-winded 13-year stop-start kind of a thing. They were both pretty frustrated. No matter how many times Johnny asked her, he couldn't get June to say yes.
Well, naturally, I couldn't marry him while he was still a married man. And besides, he was acting like a drug-crazed loon all the time. Ain't that right, Luther? Luther?
Yes, ma'am.
Besides, I was a good Christian girl, and I would not abide by that as a way of life.
Well, folks, we were living in suspense, wondering when Johnny'd finally crack from all this drug-crazed wildness and frustrated love. Right now, we're going to leave you all in suspense. We're going to let this steamy love affair simmer for a little bit. We're going to go backstage and tune our guitars and have a little breather. But pretty soon, we'll be back to tell you about Johnny's long, hard battle with the drugs and alcohol, and about his wild ways, and about his venture into the U.S. prisons, and how he finally found redemption. So you all sit back and relax, and we'll be back real soon.
Well, I don't care what's right or wrong,
Sing along.
I won't try to understand. Let the devil take tomorrow. Lord, tonight I need a friend.
Yesterday's dead and gone, and tomorrow's out of sight. Ain't it sad to be alone? Help me make it through the night.
I don't wanna be alone. Help me make it through the night.
The temptations of stardom are great. Many music stars have succumbed to drugs. Johnny Cash had become a huge success story and the world lay at his feet. But he was on a wild ride and it seemed like nothing could stop him from self-destruction. He was burning up with frustrated love for his new sweetheart, June Carter. He was estranged from his wife and children. And he tried to find solace in one-night stands and pills and whiskey. It's a true fact that seeking escapism through mind-numbing drugs can be a sure sign of deep emotional scars that can go all the way back to childhood. And I understood from some of the things that Johnny told me that his daddy Ray never gave him the love that he craved. Johnny was never good enough in his daddy's eyes. Even when he became a big star, Daddy Ray remained scornful and took no truck with the trappings of success. Johnny'd do anything to please his daddy. Bought him a house and a big car. But Daddy Ray remained aloof and would often mock Johnny's macho man stage image. It was a great irony, therefore, that Johnny had a huge hit with a song that was a comic take on this theme of a cruel father figure.
How do you do? My name is Sue. Well, my daddy left me when I was 3. He didn't leave much for my ma and me, just this old guitar, empty bottle of booze. I don't blame him 'cause he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, when he named me Sue. He must have thought it was quite a joke. He got a lot of laughs from a lot of folks. Seems I had fought my whole life through. Some gal would giggle and I'd get red. Some guy would laugh and I'd bust his head. Life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. I grew up fast, I grew up mean. My fists got hard and my wits got keen. I rolled from town to town, hid my shame. And I swore an oath to the moon and the stars I'd stretch like honky-tonks and bars and kill that man who gave me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July. I just hit town and my throat was dry. Thought I'd stop and buy myself a brew at an old saloon in a street of mud. There at a table dealing studs sat that dirty mangy dog that named me Sue. I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from a worn-out picture that my mama had. The scar on his cheek and his evil eye. He was big and mean and gray and old, and I looked at him and my blood ran cold, and I said, "My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die." That's what I told him. Well, I hit him hard right between the eyes. He went down, but to my surprise, came up with a knife, cut off a piece of my ear. So I smashed the chair right across his teeth, and we crashed through the wall into the street, kicking and a gouging in the mud and the blood and the beer. Well, I tell you, I've fought tougher men, but I really can't remember when. He kicked like a mule and he bit like a crocodile. And I saw him laugh and I saw him cuss. He went for his gun, I pulled mine first. He stood there looking at me and I saw him smile. He said, "Son, this world is rough. If a man's gonna make it, he's gotta be tough. I knew I wouldn't be there to help you along. So I gave you that name and I said goodbye. I knew you'd have to get tough or die. It's that name that helped to make you strong. Now you just fought one hell of a fight. I know you hate me and you got the right to kill me now. I wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in your guts and the spit in your eye. I'm the son of a bitch that named you Sue. What could I do? What couldn't I do? I got all choked up and I threw down my gun. I called him Pa, he called me son. I came away with a different point of view. And I think about him now and then. Every time I try, every time I win. And if I ever have a son, I'm gonna name him Donald or Malcolm or any damn thing but son. Thank you.
Yes, Johnny had another big hit. Then there was another relentless tour. Another bright lights, limousines, hotel rooms, and the clamoring people. Well, they all blurred together in a pill-popping haze.
Johnny once told me that he'd tried every drug there was to try. But despite the chaos and craziness of this lifestyle, somehow the hits just kept on coming.
Well, I always felt like Johnny had an angel on one shoulder and a big old fat devil on the other. He'd look temptation straight in the eye and then run directly towards it. Well, Johnny wrote a little tune back in those days that kind of summed up the bleak reality of waking up every day feeling real, real bad after getting high on a bunch of uppers for show the night before. This song was kind of a bit of a shot at the corruption in the legal system, and believe me, Johnny knew what he was talking about when he sang the Cocaine Blues.
Early one morning, while making the rounds, took a shot of cocaine and I shot my woman down. I went right home, went to bed. I stuck that loving 44 beneath my head. Got up next morning and I picked up my gun. Took a shot of cocaine and away I did run. Made a good run, but I run too slow. They overtook me down in Juarez, Mexico. Laid in the hot joints, taking the pills. In came the sheriff from Jericho Hill. He said, Willie Lee, your name is not Jack Brown. You're the dirty hack that shot that poor woman down. I said, yes, oh yes, my name is Willie Lee. If you got a warrant, then read it out to me. I shot her down because she made me slow. I thought I was a daddy, but she had 5 more. When I was arrested, I was dressed all in black. They put me on a train and they took me back. I had no friends to go my bail. They tossed my dried up carcass in the county jail. Early next morning, about 9:30, I saw the sheriff coming down the line. He hacked and he coughed, he cleared his throat. He said, come on, you dirty hack, into the district court. Into the courtroom my trial began, where I was handled by 12 honest men. Just before the jury started out, I saw that little judge begin to look about. In about 5 minutes in walked a man, holding the verdict in his right hand. The verdict read, in the first degree. I hollered, Lordy, Lordy, have mercy on me. Well, the judge, he smiled and he picked up his pen. 99 years in the falls of Pan, 99 years underneath that ground. I can't forget the day I shot that bad bitch down. Come on, all you hawks, listen to me. Lay off that whiskey and let that cocaine be.
Yes, drug addiction was taking a huge toll on Johnny, and he was a real erratic mess most of the time.
Yeah, well, everybody tried to help him. Ain't that right, Luther? Luther?
Yes, ma'am.
But Johnny would not be helped. He was always grumpy, tired, and hungover. Anyway, he later recorded a song written by Chris Christopherson that kind of summed up that world. You know, he was waking up every day so flat and hungover because he was getting so smashed the night before, which unfortunately had become a way of life for our Johnny.
I woke up Sunday morning with no weight on my head, it didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad. I would want more for dessert. And I fumbled in my closet through my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. And I shaved my face, combed my hair, stumbled down the stairs to greet the day. I'd smoked my mind the night before, cigarettes and songs that I'd been picking. But I lit my first and watched a young boy cussing at a can that he'd been kicking. And I crossed the empty street and smelled the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. And it took me back to something I'd lost somewhere, somehow, along the way.
On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something about a Sunday that makes a body feel alone. There ain't nothing short of dying, half as lonesome as the sound of a sleepy city sidewalk, Sunday morning coming down.
Well, in the park, I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl he'd been swinging. And I stopped beside a Sunday school and listened to the songs that they were singing. And somewhere far away, I heard a lonely bell was ringing. And it echoed through the canyon like a disappearing dream of yesterday. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something about a Sunday makes your body feel alone. There ain't nothing short of dying, half as lonesome as the sound of a sleepy city sidewalk, Sunday morning coming down. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something about a Sunday
Everybody.
That makes your body feel alone. There ain't nothing short of dying, half as lonesome as the sound of a sleepy city sidewalk. Sunday morning coming down on a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something about a Sunday that makes your body feel alone. There ain't nothing short of dying, half as lonesome as the sound of a sleepy city sidewalk. Sunday morning coming down, Sunday morning coming down, Sunday morning coming down, Sunday morning coming down.
Well, back in the early days of our success, we recorded a song which was to become real important in my career, kind of signature tune. Well, folks, tonight, I got a confession to make. I stole that song. You know, when I was stationed in Bavaria, I was listening to the radio one night and I heard this real smooth blues on the radio. I gave that song the Johnny Cash beat and I changed the words. Because I had this idea about writing a song in the first person about a man in a penitentiary, the term of his natural life, or killing somebody. Well, I named that song after the meanest penitentiary in the whole USA, and I called it The Folsom Prison Blues. I hear that train a-comin', it's coming round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison and time keeps dragging on. That train keeps a-rolling down to San Antone. When I was a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good man, never play with guns. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Cry for us, Luther. Well, I bet there's rich folks riding in fancy dining cars, drinking strong black coffee and smoking big cigars. I know I had it coming, and I know I can't be free. Those people keep on moving, and that's what tortures me. Well, if they freed me from this prison and the dining car was mine, bet you'd find it farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my tears away. all my tears away there, Luther. Train a-comin', it's coming around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in falls in prison, and time keeps dragging on. That train keeps a-rolling down to San Antonio. Yes, that train keeps a-rolling down to San Antonio. That train keeps a-rolling down to San Antonio. Well, that song did real good for me, folks, and we started to get a whole lot of letters coming in. These are letters from different fans, new fans we'd found all across the USA. There were hard men doing hard times in tough prisons, and they liked the lyrics of my songs. You remember those days, June?
I remember the fan mail. Well, these new fans, they meant so much to Johnny, who always did try and support the underdog throughout his career, and it eventually led him to flout the record companies and attempt those historical, if not a little controversial, prison concerts.
This act of rebellion against the powerful record companies did so much to entrench an outlaw image of Johnny Cash as a tough macho man and a rebel, and also produced hugely successful live albums as a byproduct. It's funny that while Johnny was seen as a rebel and a drug addict, he was also courted by a succession of U.S. presidents. I guess that's the strange power of celebrity status.
Well, I also think Johnny had a very charismatic stage presence as well. You know, he had several tilts at Hollywood stardom. It was inevitable, I guess. In one of those movies, he played an aging gunslinger with the legendary movie actor Kirk Douglas, in which they sell tickets to their last shootout. He appeared also in a whole bunch of good and not so good westerns made for television, in which he was always cast as an outlaw and a loner. And this kind of upheld his lifelong fascination with those great American traditions of hunting, guns, and rugged cowboys.
An old cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he went upon his way, when all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw riding through the ragged sky and up the cloudy draw. Their brands were still on fire, their hooves were made of steel. Their arms were hot and shiny, and their hot breath he could feel. A bolted fear went through him as they thundered through the sky. He saw the riders coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yo. Ghost riders in the sky. Their faces blurred, their eyes reflect their heads all soaked with sweat. He's riding hard to catch the herd, but they haven't caught him yet. 'cause they've got to ride forever in that range up in the sky, on horses snorting fire, as they ride on here to cry. Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yo, ghost riders in the sky. Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yo, ghost riders in the sky. As the riders loped on by him, he heard one call his name. If you wanna save yourself, boy, from riding on this range, well, cowboy, you must change your ways, or with us you will ride and chase the devil's ghost herd across the endless sky. Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yo, ghost riders in the sky. Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yo, ghost riders in the sky. Ghost riders in the sky. Ghost riders in the sky.
With a lot of support from friends and family, and especially June and the Carter family, John eventually found the strength to overcome his many addictions. His long-suffering first wife, Vivian, had been granted a divorce a few years earlier, and with all impediments out of the way, in 1968, 13 years after they met backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, Johnny Cash put June Carter right on the spot. On stage during a live performance in Ontario, Canada, Johnny proposed to her in front of a large audience. This time she relented and she said yes. Give him a hand, folks.
Well, you can get a big one later on, I suppose. All jokes aside, folks, we got married not long after back in Franklin, Kentucky, and I have to tell you, it was the happiest day of my life.
If I were a carpenter and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby?
If you were a carpenter and I were a lady, I'd marry you anyway. I'd have your baby.
If I worked my hands in wood, would you still love me?
I'd answer, baby, yes I would. I'd put you above me.
Save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow. I've given my onlyness,
Come give your tomorrow.
tinker were my trade, would you still love me?
I'd carry them pots you made, walking beside you.
If I were a miller at a mill wheel grinding. Would you miss your colored dress and your soft shoes shining?
If you were a miller man at a mill wheel grinding, I would miss my colored dress, but now my soft shoes shining.
Oh, save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow. I've given my loneliness, come give your tomorrow. If I were a carpenter and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby?
If you were a carpenter and I were a lady, I'd marry you anyway, I'd have your baby.
Oh, save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow. I've given my loneliness, come give your tomorrow. Save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow. I've given my loneliness, come give your tomorrow.
Yes, when Johnny and June met for the first time, it was a true meeting of souls. When they finally married, it was for a devoted 35 years. They had a child together and went on to share the ups and downs and the glare of show business. Together they appeared weekly on Johnny's TV show and performed to audiences right around the world. One of Johnny's early great hits was a tribute to being true to your love and inspired a long devotion to June Carter Cash. A devotion that went a long way to taming his wild ways and possibly saved him from an early grave.
If you know this, folks, sing along.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep my ends out for the ties that bind. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line. I find it very, very easy to be true. I find myself alone when each day is through. Yes, I'll admit I'm a fool for you. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line. As sure as night is dark and day is light, I keep you on my mind, baby, day and night. And happiness I've found proves that I'm right. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line. You got a way to keep things on your mind. You give me cause for love that I can't hide. You know I'd even try to turn the tide. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep my ends out for the ties that bind. Because you're mine, I walk the line. I find it very, very easy to be true. I found myself alone when each day is through. Yes, I'll admit I'm a fool for you. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line.
June and Johnny lived a long, happy life together, sharing their stellar music careers and their strong Christian faith. Yet they were both still feisty, independent individuals.
No, we weren't.
Oh, yes, you were, June.
We were not.
They were. Often there'd be a clash of wills and egos and sparks would fly. Their personal ups and downs were epic events. I remember one time Johnny's out on his ranch driving his truck around and...
Oh, no, don't tell this story. You folks don't want to hear it, do you?
They do, June. Yes, they do. Johnny driving his truck around. The truck caught on fire, and the fire escaped into the state forest and burned out hundreds of acres of forest. And unbeknownst to Johnny, he brought the last remaining colony of rare condor birds to the edge of extinction. Well, the law didn't take kindly to this. They hauled him up in court. The judge asked him why he did it. Johnny said, "I didn't do nothing. My truck did it, and it's dead." The judge fined him $80,000 anyway. June and Johnny, they lived together. They loved together. They made beautiful music. It's a great irony that they won a Grammy Award for a song that's essentially a domestic argument set to music.
We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out.
I'm going to Jackson, I'm going to Bears around. Yes, I'm going to Jackson. Look out, Jackson Town.
We'll go on down to Jackson. Go ahead and wreck your head. Go play your hand, you big talking man. Make a big fool of yourself. Yeah, go to Jackson and go comb that hair.
I'm going to Snowball Jackson.
Go ahead and see if I care.
When I cruise into that city, people gonna stoop and bow. All them women gonna make me teach them what they don't know how. I'm going to Jackson. Let go of my coat. Yes, I'm going to Jackson.
Goodbye, that's all she wrote. 'Cause they laugh at you in Jackson, and I'll be dancing on a pony cake. They'll lead you around town like a scolded hound with your tail right between your legs. Yeah, go to Jackson, you big talking man. 'Cause I'll be waiting there in Jackson behind my J-Pan fan.
Well, we got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out.
I'm going to Jackson, and that's a fact. We're going to Jackson, ain't never coming back.
fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out.
Johnny Cash is one of the great figures of old time of popular music, who lived a turbulent but creative life and brought great joy to millions of people from all around the world, from all walks of life.
Yeah, and John was also very proud of his television show, The Johnny Cash Show, which was a launching pad for so many up-and-coming musical talents. And so for a generation, and I believe many, many generations to come, the name Johnny Cash will be a household name. During his lifetime, he released over 85 albums of songs.
His lifelong love affair with his partner, June, was a truly epic love story. Johnny only outlived her by a few months. In those last months before the final days of his life, he recorded his last sparse and eerie album, paying homage to the next generation of songwriters by covering their songs. One of those songs seemed to be incredibly powerful, honest, summing up of his life. It may have been the last song that he sang before he died.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focused on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tore a hole, that old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You can have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt. I wear my crown of thorns in my liar's chair, full of broken dreams I cannot repair. beneath the sands of time. Feelings disappear. You are somewhere else, and I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You can have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt. If I could start again, 1,000,000 miles away, I would find myself. I would find a way. One, two, three, four. I hear that train a-comin', it's coming down the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in falls of prison, and time keeps dragging on. Train keeps a-rolling down to San Antonio. Well, thanks for coming on out today, folks, and hearing the story. I'd like to introduce you to the members of my band, these wonderful people. Way over there on the left on the big old wide double bass, Mr. Marshall Grant, played by Mr. Slim Pickens.
When I was a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear the lonesome whistle, I hang my head and cry.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, closest to me on the left here, another real good friend of mine. This handsome young fella, he's a bit shy, but he plays a mean guitar. Mr. Luther Perkins, played by Mr. Mark Heazlitt.
The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wide. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and the flames they went higher. And it burns, burns, burns in a ring of fire, in a ring of fire.
Well, folks, they say behind every strong man there's an even stronger woman. In my case, I got 3 women behind me, all wrapped up in one little package. Make her feel really appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Ilona Harker.
son.
Go ahead and see if I care.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would not be here tonight if it wasn't for the extraordinary songs and talent of Johnny Cash. And that has come to life to us with the extraordinary talents of the show's writer and star, Barry Ferrier. Please put your hands together.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep my hands out for the ties that bind. Because you're mine, I'll walk the line. I find it very, very easy to be true. I found myself alone when each day is through. Yes, I'll admit I'm a fool for you. Because you're mine, I walk the line. 1. Actually, before I count in again, I'd just like to thank Panthers and the great production crew that supported us today. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I hear that train a-comin', it's coming around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. My train keeps rolling down to San Antonio. Oh, that train keeps rolling down to San Antonio. Yes, that train keeps rolling down to San Antonio.